Jagat-jiva-para, the universe, the individual, the Supreme or God. Sri Bhagavan says, these three appear and disappear together. They rise and set together. At first glance, it appears that the individual is a minuscule speck in the universe, while the universe itself is but a mere speck or bubble in that which is supreme or God. But what really is the essence? Sri Bhagavan says that these three appear as three only so long as the ego exists. If the ego subsides, the three are seen not to be three at all, but one indivisible, solitary, undifferentiated existence remains. That is the self. What are you? Question yourself. Who am I? If the self is not the body, then it is unborn and imperishable. If the self is not the body, it bears none of the characteristics or attributes of the body. If you are bodiless, can you be finite? If you are bodiless, can you truly be the performer of any action or the experiencer of the results of such? If you are not the body, are you in a world? If you are not the body, then you are not something sensed, nor are you a sensing entity, nor does sensation say anything about you. If the self is not the body, then where are you? Or is it that location no longer applies? If the self is not the body, can you be young? Can you be old? If the self is not the body, is there any distinction between life and death? Not being the body, you are infinite, eternal, innately so. Endowed with freedom from the I am the body misconception. What then is the universe? And where is the distinction between you and God? What is the self? Who are you? not being a thought, nor a set of thoughts. You are inconceivable. The inconceivable is endowed with no difference. Not being the mind, you are neither a thought nor are you a thinker. If the self is not the mind, then what is all that you've ever thought of? If the self is not the mind, none of that ever applies to you. If the self is not the mind, you do not wake, you do not dream, you do not sleep, nor are you any of the content of any of those states of mind. If you are not the mind and do not reside in any state of mind, where are you? What are you? Remaining free of misidentification with a body or a mind. What remains of the jiva, the individual? The one for whom there is a separate God and a separate universe. The supposition of I, of existing as an individual, is merely a bare assumption and not the reality. If that jiva is assumed to be your identity, then Jagat and Para, the universe and the Supreme, appear accordingly, defined by the very definitions you hold of yourself. If by profound inquiry to realize what in truth you are, you find that you are not the individual, what remains is unalloyed being, consciousness, bliss. The infinite, the eternal, the timeless, the spaceless. What is mistaken as Jagat-jiva-para, the universe, the individual, and the supreme, is really only that singular, undivided reality of being, consciousness, bliss. All this universe is the self perceived as such. God is the self conceived as such. The individual being is only the self imagined as such. With the subsidence of the misconception of individuality, the three are no longer three. The one reality is and comprehends itself. It is without limitation, free of division. It is without modification and eternally is just as it is. With the veiling by delusion of the nature of the self, the projection of multiplicity seems to appear. If you ask, for whom does it appear? Who am I? The multiplicity being unreal dissolves. The veil also being unreal dissolves. What remains? The unborn is the indestructible. The ever-existent is the reality. Know yourself.